like this. Does that make it a planar graph? Yes, Taha agrees. How about Nice? Right. So this four node graph now becomes this four node graph. Yes, we are not, Taha, we are not changing the configuration. We are just changing how we are drawing this graph. But now this four node graph becomes a four node complete graph, right? So in this case, we can assign this as red. In that scenario, we can't assign any of these as red because all of those are neighbors. We can assign this as green. And sorry for writing this like this. And since this has a neighbor of green and this has a neighbor of red, we can assign this as blue. But now we need one more color to assign this as black, right? So for a four node graph, we need four colors to correctly represent this particular graph and correctly color all of those nodes in separate colors such that no two neighbors are the same color. Does everyone agree that we cannot do it in less than four colors? Perfect. Now let's take one more example now for five nodes. We have one, two, let's try it as a pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have a node from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. Secondly, we have a node from here to here, here to here, here to here. This node gets connected to both this, and we have a connection between this. So this is a graph of five nodes where all of the nodes are connected to each other. So this is a complete graph of five nodes or five vertices where every vertex is connected to every other vertex. I want you guys to look at this graph carefully, and I would like you guys to test this on your own. But there is no way to make this graph into a planar graph. We would always have a intersection between two edges when we try to sort of declutter this graph into a planar graph. We would always have some form of an edge connecting a graph, connecting two vertices that overlaps another edge. So in that case, since this is not a planar graph, we need more than four colors to basically color all of these nodes. Okay. So does that make sense? Since we cannot move these vertices into a graph that is a planar graph, we need more than five colors. So that is the condition that we are going to come back to this particular thing. So you agree that a click or a complete graph is the most number of colors that we would need in order to color a particular graph. But after we have four vertex complete graphs, that would make it into a five vertex complete graph and plus, that would require more than four colors. But that also means that a five vertex graph can never be decluttered into a planar graph. You would always have an edge there. Okay, so the theorem is that whenever we have this graph that is a planar graph can always be used. So there are two theorems. First thing is a planar graph can always be used to represent the world in terms of vertices being countries and edges being neighboring countries. And a planar graph only requires four colors to color all of those vertices together. Right, because a world map can never have a five vertex click to represent its boundaries. And I want you guys to work on that, but essentially that is a very nice exercise for you to do. And let me know if you have any problems with that, but it should be fairly intuitive to solve that particular thing. right? So that makes sense. Everyone understood everything we have talked about so far. Perfect. Okay. So now I have two questions. First question first. Let's say that I am a company that I'm trying to use this particular representation of a graph. How would I represent this particular graph as a data structure? I know that I can use arrays. I know that I can use matrices. I know I have access to linked lists. How would I represent this graph in order to figure out what color I need to assign to them? So before I move on to this particular thing, yes, I have a tree traversal. Yes, that is a very nice answer. So how do we represent trees in our computer? Usually, what do we use to represent trees? Can I use a linked list to represent trees? Yes. So, Brian Nees, you say that we can use an array. Can you tell me how would I use an array to represent a tree? Any answer is fine. You can give a stupid answer as well. And you can unmute your mic if you don't want to type. So let's come back. We have some answers, AVL tree and other things. Let's come back to some examples. Let's say that I have this tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all of the nodes are basically the same size. Don't critique me on my diagram skills. So let's say that this is a tree, right? Let's say that this is node 1, this is node 2, this is node 3, this is node 4, 5. Yes, Shari, you are correct that we would use a data structure. And Brian, you're also correct that we would use that particular data structure. But what I'm going to ask you guys now is the question that is an array always a nice way to represent trees? So for a linked list, we can always have a parent tree that have two child nodes, 2 and 3. And basically 2 would again have two child nodes, 4 and 5. 3 would have two child nodes, 6 and 7. And that would be represented as a linked list and a tree, right? But I can also represent this particular tree as something as, let's say that I have the first node here. I have 1. The next values are 2 and 3. Those are the children for my node 1. Now for node 2, I can have 4, I can have 5. So those are the children for node 2. And then for node 3, I can have 6, and then I can have 7. So this would be one way to represent this particular tree, right? Thinking about differently, traverse the tree and convert that into an array, similar to what you're doing. Yes, Brian, imagine that we are doing a sort of a breadth first search, if you know about it already. In that scenario, we are representing that this tree into this particular formation, but you can also think of it as the first node goes first, then all the children of the first node goes next, then we have 2 and 3, then the children for 2 go next, we have 4 and 5, then we have children of 3, that is 6 and 7, and so on. So does everyone agree that this would be a valid way of representing this tree? Yes and no. Imagine a tree where we have the where we do not have the constraint that it is not a binary tree. So let's say that we have this other node that is 8, that is a child of 1, and let's say that 8 has children. Let's say that 8 has 3 children, right? In that particular situation, we would not know how many children a node has. If we can have any number of children, then this particular array formation would not be the best way of representing this tree. Taha, it works for balanced trees, but this array representation works only for fixed binary trees where your tree cannot have more than 2 children or less than 2 children for that matter. Because how would I know if 3 is a child of 1, or is 2 the only child of 1, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are children of 2, right? So let's bring up another example here. So this particular thing can also be represented as, let's say 1 has 1 child, and then I have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's say that 1 only has this one particular child, and 2 has these many children. Where this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and so on, right? 6, 7. So if we are again representing the same thing using the same formula, then the first node goes first, so we have 1, then all the children goes next, so we have 2, then all the children for 2 goes next, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so we have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if we do not have the condition where it is only a binary tree, where every node has 2 children fixed, in that particular situation, either of those 2 trees can be represented by this array. Does everyone understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand that both of those trees can be represented using this particular array? Yes. So an array is only useful. How does it break down for non-binary fixed trees? So Brian Akins. So exactly right. So Brian, as Brian Nees says. So exactly. So in order to make sure that we are following this particular data structure, whatever that data structure might be, we sort of need a linked list, where a linked list would have an array of children, where the array would represent their child nodes, and their child nodes would again have an array of children where they would represent their child nodes, and that would be a proper way of representing a tree. Do you understand? That would also preserve the architecture of the tree as well. Perfect. Okay, so in order to represent this graph, we can do the same thing. We can say that node 1 is connected to 12, 11, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So we can have for node 1, we can have a list of nodes that node 1 is connected to. Since these